What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Mike Widmer, the Expansion Real Estate Group. Happy Friday to you. Happy Good Friday to you. Welcome to this month's edition to the monthly market update. Hope you guys are all having an amazing Good Friday. Hopefully you guys got the day off, starting a nice long holiday weekend, and just enjoying yourself. So we got a lot to go over today, so let me jump right into it and get into our stats and jump right over to our trusty Cromford Market Index. And you're going to see a pretty familiar pattern, which we've been talking about for a long time. We started off March at 84.5 on the Cromford Index, and then we started off April down at 79.4. So a 4.8 point drop this month, and it's kind of kept going, as you'll see here on our daily chart. Right, we had some optimism at the end of the year last year, and it's just been really consistently declining all the way down now. And looking here, this is pretty amazing, actually. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's a line going across this entire screen, and you can only see, like, right here, there's only about a 3-year period in the last 25 years where the Cromford has been lower, right? So remember, lower Cromford, better for buyers. So an amazing opportunity for buyers out there right now to make some really low offers. And today we're sitting at 78.4 on the index. So we've came down about 2 points in the first half of the month. So looking about the same pace to drop about a total of 4 points by the end of the month. One big change we've been seeing the last few months is right here. The supply index is now over 100. Last month it was way down at 95.2. So that went up 8.8 points just in 1 month. And this is a pretty wild stat here. Last month we had 18,142 active single family homes. Today we have 19,906. We are probably by tomorrow, the next day, we're going to have over 20,000 active single family homes. That's up 10% just from last month, and now we're about 25% up from the start of the year, and about almost 60% up from a year ago. Right, so every 1,000 homes that were on the market, there's now 600 more homes for buyers to choose from. Right, there's no question why we're at where we're at, and this Cromford dropping down is because that supply is just going up extremely fast, and the demand is not caught up to it. A little piece of good news is last month on the Cromford, on the demand, we were sitting at 79.8, and today we're sitting at 81.8. So 2 points up in demand. So almost 9 points up in supply and 2 points up in demand. That continue that pretty steady decline in the Cromford. Another thing I want to kind of show you guys today, actually one more quick stat for you. I think I've said this a couple times over the past few years. This is one of the most interesting, confusing, strangest real estate markets that I've been a part of in 25 years. After all these things I'm saying about inventory rising and all the, that just going up, from last year at this point in time to today, we actually had 3.2% appreciation. So while all this inventory is going crazy and demand is low and rates are high, prices have still went up. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? That just is not common sense for economics to do that. But one thing that just happened in the past couple of weeks, I'm fairly confident to say when I come on here next month, the month-over-month median sales price will have went down. Right, we're seeing so many lower offers accepted by sellers as this inventory gets higher and higher. They feel more and more desperate to take an offer. So in the first few weeks of April, that median sales price is falling. So just something to watch out for, and we'll talk about that more next month, but just something to let you guys know. One thing I've never really done here is we talk about interest rates all the time, right? And I talked a little bit last month about how the 10-year bond, the 10-year treasury, is what drives interest rates. And you'll see here, this is a U.S. government bond, the 10-year yield. Conventional mortgage rates are usually about 2 points to 2.5 points above this, right? And I want to show you this because this is just goes back a few months, but just right here, I'll start right here, if you guys can see right here. This is when the stock market started to drop. We went all the way from, if you look on the right-hand side, 4.4 on the yield, all the way down to 3.8. So, over a 0.5% drop. And then that was in 9 days. And in the next 7 days, we went all the way back up to almost 4.6%, and now we've kind of dropped back down. And then yesterday and today it went up again. So this is what's called uncertainty in the markets. And this was the stock market crashing. This is when Trump released the tariffs, and it's just been kind of going back and forth. We're just not quite sure what's going to happen. But everybody always says, in the industry, just don't talk about rates. Just don't talk about them, right? I don't believe that. I think I always talk about them because they're 100% what's driving the real estate market. If it's over 7%, the buyers go away. If it's getting closer to 6, the buyers come back, right? It's driving the market, and it's just the way that it is. And this is kind of a cool chart too here. So this is the same U.S. Treasury, but going back until 1979. I'm sure all of you guys, old or young, and some of you guys probably remember in the early 80s that interest rates were around 18%, right? Well, look at this. The very high on the yield back then was sitting at 15.8%. Add on your 2.5 points, man, you're right there at 18. And then down here after COVID, this was literally March of 2020, we just went straight down for a little bit, and we got interest rates, the yield went all the way down to 0.3. And that's where some of you guys got so incredibly, amazingly lucky to lock in at a 2.5% rate, a 3% rate over 30 years. And then it's just been climbing ever since. So just pretty interesting to see that on the chart and over history of time. But rates are driving the market. And as they come down, the buyers come back. And I believe that is their target, to get those down so we can get some more activity in the market. So that's kind of where we're at on that. One last thing I want to talk to you guys about that's kind of hiding in plain sight. So I've been talking about the real estate lawsuit for about a year, and some things I think were great about it. I think more transparency is important. I think about talking about how people get paid and who pays them is important. But I always have said that I didn't think it really helped anybody, right? It didn't help. Actually, it was really bad for buyers, really hurt the buyers. And did it really save sellers that much money? In the end, it has not. So since that lawsuit has gotten settled last August, and started last August, there's been some big things happening in the major companies in this industry. Just this month, Rocket Mortgage, or Rocket Companies are called now, they are buying Redfin, which was the 4th largest platform as far as where people go to see houses on the market, right? Zillow's been number 1, Realtor.com, Homes.com, and then Redfin. Those were kind of the top 4. So Rocket Mortgage, who does loans, is buying Redfin, where you go to find houses. And also this exact same month, they're also buying what's called Mr. Cooper. And Mr. Cooper is the largest servicer of loans in, I think, the world, for sure the United States. So now think about this. So Rocket Mortgage is going to do your loan, right? Then they're going to help you find the house, right? And then they're going to take their mortgage, and then now Mr. Cooper that they just bought is going to service it for 30 years, right? That's the whole thing. They are trying, these big, huge corporations are trying to get to be your thing from start to finish. They want to control every single part of the transaction. So with this lawsuit, there's a saying I always use that says, when they tell you to look this way, there's something else going on over here, right? So they distracted us for a couple years with this lawsuit, and all the time in the background, they're doing what they got to do to put all their corporations together. And, we're not quite there yet. And I'm not naive enough to say that AI and these big corporations are not going to completely disrupt the industry. It's going to happen at some point in time. But as of still today, right now, what they're doing is they're just trying to keep you in one little bubble, where I still think it's extremely important to have an advocate, a trusted advisor like myself or somebody else on your team that's going to guide you through in a personal experience, and not just be a button on an app, right? Will we get there in the future? Probably, right? That's where this world's going, but we're not there yet. It's still super important to have some feeling, some context in things, knowing what you're doing, and not just being a few clicks of a button away. So I think it's really, really interesting and a little bit scary what's happening in the background. So as of right now, we're still moving along full steam ahead. The market's slow, but that's okay. If you're a buyer out there, it's an amazing opportunity to go make some, really great offers. Get your closing costs paid for, get your rate bought down, a lot of things like that. And for sellers, I told you last month, I'll tell you again, either you got the best price or you got the best product. Otherwise, your house is going to sit there for a minute. So if you got a dialed-in property, it'll probably sell. If you're willing to sell it for where it really should be, it'll probably sell. If you don't have either one of those, you're going to be on the market for a minute. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out. I always appreciate the comments. I appreciate the phone calls and the text, just with questions about this stuff. I love talking about it. So I'm always here for you guys. And I hope you guys have an amazing, safe, happy holiday weekend. Be with your family, be present, and have a good time. Thanks.